Hey guys, so I have a whole bunch of kitchen projects I want to get done. Some of them I have been putting off for a while, some of them have just come up and still need to get taken care of. Most of them are like fairly smallish, on the smallish side, so I think I should be able to accomplish them all. But my list is, I need to get some of my containers refilled. I'm going to make a strawberry rhubarb crisp using some of my strawberries from the garden last year, and rhubarb that I got at the farmer's market that's just been in the freezer. So I'm going to use that up and have a lovely crisp for dessert tonight. David made a bunch of chicken broth because anytime we get a rotisserie chicken or we bake up a chicken, we save the carcass and just freeze it until we have he said we had 5 carcasses. So he made a whole bunch of bone broth. So I need to get that canned up. And then I am determined to get through some more of the tomatoes that I am still working on. Yes, I am. And then the last thing is I got I don't know, maybe 10, 15 pounds of onions from my mom because they are starting to go bad, and she's literally right in the middle of packing up to move up here, which is very exciting news. She's going to be up here as of April 1st. So very excited about that, but she has no time to deal with the onions. So when we were down there last time, I just brought them back up with us, and I am going to get them preserved. I don't know how much I'll actually get of them because they're like rotting from the inside out. So you can't tell until you cut into them how much of the onion is going to be good or not. So we're going to have to just cut into them all and see where we're at, and then depending on how much we have, we might preserve them in a couple of different ways. So let's get started with this first, then we will get the crisp going and in the oven, and then we'll figure out what we'll do after that. So when I refill these bins, I like to take the old stuff, the stuff that's on the bottom out to put it on the top. It doesn't make that big of a difference with something like powdered sugar, but I still like to do it. And as you know, I had been rather concerned that I was going to run out of powdered sugar when I was making David's birthday cupcakes a little bit ago. So when I went to Costco, I stocked up. I'm hoping this all fits in here. Oh, we're gonna make a mess. Woo! Oh, it is not all gonna fit in here. And I'm gonna make a mess. Oh no! Okay. How not to do this? Right here, folks. Right here. Okay. I thought it would compact down a little bit more, but apparently not. And I still need to get this stuff in here, so. All right, so we will just wrap the rest of that up and refill when we need it. We have had absolutely gorgeous weather. We had about a foot of snow a week and a half ago. Like, it just dumped snow, and it had almost all completely melted, and then it just dumped snow again. And but now we've been having temperatures up into the high 40s, even low 50s. So it's all melting, and we've just had these gorgeous sunny days, which I'm loving. And we will clean up that mess after we probably make a second mess with the cocoa powder. Now this should fit, right? We'll see. I'll try and do it a little slower this time. I just really like having these kinds of containers with my baked goods baking items in them because I don't know, there's just they're easier to stack because they are all the same type of container, whereas, you know, like this or a bag of powdered sugar, they just, it gets awkward. So it's easier to store things in a neat and orderly fashion. Nope, this is not all gonna fit either. Not much left in this one. Now let me just clean up my little mess here that I made. We're going to probably use this for our onions. And of course I got it all over my canning lids. All right. And then this one is just a really quick, just a banana that neither David or I like eating super ripe bananas, but Madeline loves them. So we just slice them up and freeze them and give her a little slice every once in a while, which she loves. And she has problems with reflux. And bananas are supposed to be good for that for dogs, apparently. All right, I have my butter melting in the microwave right now. And then we're just going to chop all of the rhubarb. I'm not sure I'm gonna get all of the strawberries in there. They will sink quite a bit as they thaw and cook. Let's just see. Whoop. Yeah, actually I think that's okay. Just have to be very gentle putting the crisp topping on it. All right, we're just gonna add a little bit of flour to this guy and a little bit of sugar. Just gonna do about a half cup of sugar and maybe a quarter cup of flour. That mix. In this guy. Break these up a little bit here if I can. Maybe not. Right, and we're just going to use the same bowl to mix up the crisp topping, but let me get this flour and sugar kind of down there a little bit more. All right, there we go. Wash my hands real quick. Then I'm just going to do half a cup of flour, about a cup of oats. And these are quick oats, so the 1-minute oats, but not instant. You could definitely use old-fashioned oats too if you wanted to. And then I'm gonna do maybe 2/3 of a cup of brown sugar. Give that a quick mix. Actually, I'm going to put a pinch of salt in here as well. Actually, no, I don't need to because there is salt. I'm using a bit of salted butter, so that should do it. All right, butter's not completely melted, but that's fine. It's probably about 2/3 of a stick of butter. Just mix that in. I think this is going to be way too much for the top of this, but that's okay. I wonder if this freezes well. You can use it later. I bet it would. It's just sugar and flour and oats and butter. Huh, I might have to try that, actually. I'm going to get in here with my hand and get it all mixed in. I like having nice big clumps of crisp bits instead of like just crumblies, which is why I add a lot of butter. But you know, so they kind of have clumps like that. All right, and then we are just going to sprinkle it on the top. Like I said, it needs to be done rather gingerly since it is so full. I'm still gonna make a mess though. I was very excited. Today I was texting with Liam's girlfriend Romy, and when they were here at Christmas, I had given her and Quinn some of my sourdough starter to take home with them because they both wanted to try their hand at it but didn't want to actually make the starter, which I understand. So I was just chatting with her, and I hadn't asked her up to this point if she had tried it yet, and apparently she has and loves doing sourdough now, which is kind of fun. All right, I think that is plenty. I've made enough of a mess. I am going to put this on a tray, and then we will get it in the oven. It's probably going to need to bake for a good 45 minutes, even an hour. Next, we need to get our bone broth reheated here. Look at how jellied that is. Ooh, that's perfect. It's probably going to make a mess though if I try to just plop it out. Oh my goodness, that's gorgeous. That is some gorgeous stuff right there. So we're gonna get it reheated up and nice and hot so we can get it into the canner. Get a scraper and get all of this deliciousness out. So while this is heating up, I think I should look at my list because I feel like I've already forgotten something. Nope. Yep, so next would be, let's get started getting onions chopped up, or should I put the tomatoes on the stove too? Let's put the tomatoes on the stove as well and get those cooking down first. I actually don't know what I'm doing with these tomatoes once I have them cooked down, but I need to start doing something with them. So they're gonna go in pots and start getting cooked down. All right, let's put this guy in the back. I'm hoping to get 3 bags in each of these, but I'll have to add the 3rd one to each after they've cooked down for a bit. And honestly, most likely all I'm going to do with these is run them through the food mill and freeze dry, because I don't need to can anything more. All right, Got those working for us now. Now we can start on onions. All right, so this is our box of onions here. And like I said, most of them, it's really hard to tell if they're rotten inside or not. So I have one bowl here for scraps. And then we will put whatever we can save in this one. But let me put down a plastic cutting board here. And I think for right now, I'm just going to cut them in half, and then once we see what we have, I will decide I guess my options. Here, let's talk about what the options are for preserving these guys. So we can just chop them up and freeze them. I could chop them up and freeze dry them. And for freezing or freeze drying, I can either do like finely diced, or I could do it in semi-rings. Did I have it? Oh, and the other way I was thinking, I don't know if I'm going to get to that tonight though, if I do that. I think this one has some bad in it. Was getting a whole bunch of them caramelized and freezing them that way. Because how nice would that be to have a whole bunch of caramelized onions just on hand, so you don't have to wait 45 minutes every time you need them. Yeah, see, you can see, like, on the outside it's completely firm, and you would never guess that there is bad on the inside. This one's not too bad though. It's nice. A couple of them that we have cut open just as we're using them for, you know, everyday use have like the entire, almost the inside, except for maybe the last two layers, are rotten. So this is not too bad. The odd thing is that, so my stepsister, they have a bunch of farmland actually up here in Idaho. Same one that has the Tangelo tree down in Arizona, but they have land up near the Boise area, farmland, that I believe they lease it all out now, but the farmers that lease it from them grow these onions. And so they always bring a big box of them to Mom. And in the past, they've always lasted all year long. She's still, I mean, they're good all year. So we're not sure why I don't know if they maybe got frozen or, I don't know. But kind of a bummer. Because they're great onions. But we will just preserve what we can. I'm going to take a quick break from the onions and get our broth jarred up. I've had these jars in here. Where are my these? Just staying nice and warm. They're all clean. So I've got to dump the water out. And our broth is almost boiling. Alrighty, let's get these guys. I'm actually, so this funnel guy came with this little strainer. I think I'm gonna leave it in here. I mean, David strained it pretty well, but just got out any last little bits. And I think it will be easiest to use this guy. I'm actually a little concerned I'm gonna need more jars. I think I need 1 inch headspace, but I should probably check. I'm just using the booklet that came with my electric pressure canner. Has a bunch of recipes in it. Chicken stock. Yep, 1 inch headspace. Which I believe that is. Does look like we are going to have to do another run through the canner because I can only fit however many this is, 6, 7 pints in the canner at one time. Although this isn't enough, I might actually end up just freezing that last little bit because you really can't run a canner without a full load, so. Alright, give my lids a quick rinse there. Wash, really. And now we're just gonna get our rims all nice and clean. Definitely wanna make sure you do this well with broths or anything that has fat in it so you don't inhibit your seals. This is some beautiful broth. Get these bad boys on here and in the canner. All right, I've already set the time for 30 minutes. At below 1,000 feet, you'd only do 20, but because we're at 5, we will be doing 30 minutes. And it's now going to heat, and then it will beep at me when I need to move this vent to can, so it seals it. And that's literally all I have to do. All right, let's get back to the onions. Oh, I need to decide what to do with this. Well, I'm gonna let this cool. I'm not gonna can it because I think I'd probably only have maybe 2 jars, maybe. So I'm just going to let it cool, put it in some plastic bags, and put it in the freezer. All right, we have a very large bowl of onions. So definitely, I'm pleased because I thought that more of them would be like thoroughly bad. But there were only probably 4 that were completely bad, but well over half of them had rot starting in them, so it's good that we are getting this taken care of. I'm going to cover this for right now with some saran wrap because my eyes are starting to water, while I take care of the chicken stock, the rest of the chicken stock, but I do believe that our crisp is almost done. Contain some of the aroma of onion. You can hear the canner venting right now. Before we grab the crisp, I'm going to add another bag of tomatoes to at least this one. I don't think one of them is quite cooked down enough yet. All right, let's look at our crisp. Oh, it's looking gorgeous. All nice and bubbly, exactly like we want. That is going to be super, super tasty. This has cooled from scalding to somewhat normal temperature, so I am going to dig in and try it. And as per usual, it's gotten a little late. Our pressure canner is on the cool cycle now, but you have to let it cool all the way down to basically room temperature before you open it up, or that, well, it could cause siphoning, it could cause breakage, all kinds of things. So that takes typically about 45 minutes to an hour to cool all the way down. So really, tomorrow morning is when I will take those out. Our tomatoes are still cooking down. Onions are just going to go out in the fridge for tonight, and we will deal with them tomorrow. But I'm going to try our crisp. Oh, I love strawberry rhubarb crisp. So good. All right, I maybe could have put a tiny bit more sugar in it, but I don't know. It's pretty darn good. Well, I'm going to dish up a bowl for David, who will be very sad that I don't have ice cream included with it, but he'll still enjoy it because we do love our crisp. All right. I will see you tomorrow when we come back to finish all of this. We are back at it. It has actually been 2 days. I've been a little busy, but in addition to finishing up the projects that we need to finish up, I have another little extra one. So I have been chitting some seeds. And all this means is I put the seeds on a damp paper towel and until they started to sprout. And this one actually has sprouted on the outside. Let's see if I can pull this up gently. You can see all the little guys in there. They're sprouted. So that is yarrow. And then this is some echinacea, which has also sprouted and was not cold stratified. So I don't know. It seems to work this way at least. Sadly, my Tabasco peppers have done exactly nothing still. Although today, when I was out in the grow room, oh, no, I think that's a yarrow seed that got by accident. Yeah, nothing for my Tabasco seeds yet. However, they do take a long time. So I think I've had these sitting here for, 310. So and today is the 18th. So 8 days. And pepper seeds can take 14 days. So I'm going to just keep them damp with, I just spray it with some water and let them keep going. But the yarrow and the echinacea, I want to get into some dirt. And I was going to bring them out to my grow room with me today. I completely forgot. So, and I didn't want to wait. So I actually brought in two cell packs of dirt to put these into. So I thought I would bring you along for that. All right. Not sure how I'm going to do this exactly. I think exactly like what I did with the lavender and just like tear around the little plant and stick it in. Yeah, I think that's the best I can do. All right, let me bring it closer. All right, so how many do I actually have that are sprouted? So I've got this one on top. Then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which is more than I need. So I'm not going to worry about these other guys. that haven't seemed to do anything. But let's get this guy first. I'm just going to take him, I'm just going to set these on here for right now. And then I will deal with planting them. I'm probably going to put more than one in each cell. But this is a really good way to see if your seeds are viable. So like if you have some old seeds and you want to know if they're going to sprout before you put them in the dirt, this is a great way to do it, because as we've discussed in the past, seeds do not need anything, any nutrients other than what they get from the seed itself until they have their first set of true leaves. So they do just fine on a piece of paper towel with some light and some water. In particular, the yarrow needs light. I don't remember, I think the echinacea you can actually bury. And the Tabasco doesn't necessarily need light, but it's getting it. It's fine. I don't think I finished saying, when I was out in the seed room earlier, one of my habaneros has finally sprouted, which is exciting. And the reason I did the yarrow, I do have some germination that happened from the ones that I planted in dirt, but not very many. So I thought I would, since I was going to do it for the Tabasco and the echinacea, I thought I would do the yarrow while I was at it. Oop. Little teeny tiny plants. Aren't they just so cute? Kind of wonder if I should just leave them like this, sitting on top of the soil, because I feel like the roots are going to figure themselves out. I think I am. I think I'm just going to leave them here, sitting on top of the soil. And the soil is nice and wet, so I don't think I'm going to add any more water. Maybe a little bit, just so they stay down. There we go. All right, let's do the echinacea. Under these guys. So these are not nearly as sprouted. Like this. These will be the cotyledons. No, that's a root. Cotyledons are actually still in. You can just see them coming out of the seed right there. So that is a root. Okay, that is definitely all of them. All right, and then we're just going to put this plastic back on our Tabasco here. Oops, no, where's my Tabasco? Yarrow, okay, Tabasco. And I'm just literally keeping it on top of the coffee maker where it's nice and warm. Built-in heating mat. So these, I will bring them back out to the grow room tomorrow when I go back out. Put them there so I don't forget. And in the meantime, let's get back to our projects. So first, our broth, obviously all finished, it all sealed, it looks beautiful. It's actually already gone down to the basement, so I don't get to show it to you, but it looks great. And then I got 2 bags, exactly 4 cups of broth that were left over in the pan. So I just put 2 cup bags in the freezer. So we have left our onions and our tomatoes. Right? Yeah, that's all. So, onions. Actually, while we are talking about plants, I wanted to show you guys, give you a little update on the plants that we planted for my windowsill. So they are looking grand. So the scallions, well, they're looking a little peaked right now, but I've cut them back several times and they keep coming back. They're not coming back quite as good this time. They might need some fertilizer, so I'll probably give them a little bit of juice. But then I have my Tiny Tim tomatoes. Don't they look amazing? I actually had 6 of them come up. Pay no attention to the garlic chive sign. My garlic chives did not come up, but the Tiny Tim tomatoes, I love the smell of tomato leaves. I don't know what it is. It smells like summer. Anyway, they are doing fantastic. And then my little sage plants, I got 4 of them, right? 4. They're all kind of growing all floppy. 5. I got 5 of them. These guys actually need a little bit of water. So all of those are doing great. And then over here, we have the rest of them. So we have our rosemary. 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 5 rosemaries growing. They're doing wonderfully. I really need to separate all of this parsley, but it is beautiful. Also smells amazing. The basil's a little slow to get going. I mean, it's growing and it looks great, but I think it's just not warm enough in the window, and it's only been recently that we've been having a lot of really sunny days, so I'm not too surprised. Although it's a little surprising the tomatoes are doing so well, and these aren't, but I think they'll get there. So. And then my oregano looks fantastic as well. Oh, it smells so good. So I just wanted to give you guys a quick update. Gave my hands a little wash here, and now back to onions. So because we do have so many of them, I think I am going to slice a bunch of them up and get them going. I think I might put them in the oven because that's going to, I can do a really big pan of it. So let's the oven to 300, and I'll just get probably a couple of 9x13 pans and just slice them up and put them in with butter, and then just stir them occasionally in the oven as they cook. So let's get those sliced up, and then the rest of them I am going to chop, and I haven't decided if I'm going to just freeze or freeze dry. I have room in the freezer now because I took out so many tomatoes, and freezing would be easier to use like right off the bat. So I think I'm probably going to freeze. But let's start getting them sliced to go into the oven first. I'm actually going to get the butter melting as the oven is heating. And I have this, actually I had forgotten I have this fairly sizable, I don't know, quarter sheet pan. I'm not sure what size that would be called, but I'm going to use that. And we'll put about, I don't know, quarter cup of butter total. And I'm just going to stick the pan in here and let it heat up and melt so that we are putting our onions in melted butter. Now there definitely would be a faster way to do this. Oops. If I wasn't being lazy and went to get my food processor, but I'm being lazy. And I'm just going to slice it. I'm going to not try and slice the ends really thin. I will just use those to chop up. Much less chance of cutting myself. And normally on the stovetop, onions take about 40-45 minutes to caramelize. Be interesting to see how long it takes in the oven. But while we're waiting for those to do that, we will get our tomatoes through the food mill. still haven't decided what I'm doing with the tomatoes. Or tomato sauce once I have it. Maybe I'll take a quick look through my canning books and see if there's something that looks interesting. I think what I'll do is just fill up this whole bowl and call that good. Well, except that caramelized onions really cook down a lot, so maybe I will do an overflowing of that bowl. All right, butter is nicely melted in here. Just kind of squish it around a bit. Maybe I should have done a bit more. Actually, I'm kind of thinking I am going to just stick this whole thing in there. A couple more on the bottom, and then I'll put these 4 chunks on the top. And I am going to salt this fairly well. Because that will help the moisture get drawn out quicker. Plus, you want the salt in your onions anyway. What do you say? Should we try giving this a toss? That should be interesting. I think what I'll also do is pour a decent amount of olive oil on top of this, because I don't want the top ones to like get crunchy. I've never done this before. I have no idea if this is going to work or not. But I don't really have a big enough pan to do this on the stovetop. And I just feel like this would be much less babysitting to do it this way. All right. I'll just stick these guys on here. And this can go back in the oven. Let's see what happens. All right. After all that, saying I wasn't going to get out my food processor, I'm going to get out my food processor. Because I remembered that this does chopping too. So we are going to let it do the chopping for us. All right, I'm going to have to still cut the onions into smaller chunks, but that's much quicker than chopping them. All right, let's see how this does. Oh, that's nice. Wow, this is super effective. Oh, I love it. All right, I'm going to cut up a bunch of these into smaller chunks so I can just throw them in quickly. Well, that just made super quick work of all of these onions. And look at that gorgeous bowl of chopped onions. That was amazing. That took like, I don't know, less than 5 minutes. Would have taken me probably an hour to chop them all by hand. So that's a very lovely toy. Just gonna get this over to the sink to get cleaned up, and then we will figure out how we're gonna package these. It definitely now reeks of onion in here though. That's all right. Okay, best way to do this. I think probably I'll do like 2 cups, maybe 3 cups in a bag, in a quart bag. I think that'd be best. All right, let's measure out how many cups can go in one of these. It doesn't make it too ridiculously full. I mean, technically it should be 4, right? Because it's quart bag. 2, 3. Yeah, let's do 3 so I can flatten them out a bit. Like that. Perfect. All right, I'm just gonna get a whole bunch of these made. We got 8 bags of 3 cups each of onions. And like the last bag was exactly 3 cups. So that was pretty impressive. I do want to take a quick look at how the onions are doing in the oven. So let's take a quick glance. Yeah, not much happening yet. I will come in and probably stir them though in maybe another 10 minutes or so. All right, so for now, I'm going to label the onions and get them in the freezer. And then I'm just going to run all of the tomatoes through the food mill. If you want to see me do that, I have many videos where I have run the tomatoes through the food mill, so I will not subject you to that. But I think we'll sit down together and flip through my canning books and see if we can find some cool thing to do with said tomato sauce. I have gotten all of the tomatoes through the food mill, and I have 2 large pots on the stove of tomato juice and tomato sauce juice, kind of somewhere in between. I haven't turned the heat on yet because I haven't decided what exactly I'm going to do with them. And honestly, it's probably not going to happen tonight anyway because it is almost 10 o'clock and it's a work night. So I thought though that I would look up. So this recipe is just the complete book of home preserving. So I'm not going to do any salsa because that you actually need to do with fresh tomatoes. You can't use frozen. That's all the salsas. Relishes. Chutneys. So ketchup. I have lots of ketchup done. Did a bunch of barbecue sauce. Zesty peach barbecue sauce. I actually have a jar of apricot shrub that got cooked down too much. So it's basically apricot and vinegar jam, I guess is what I would call it. That's been sitting in the fridge for a while. That may be kind of fun to do. How much? Oh, never mind. It doesn't use a single tomato. Never mind. Chili sauces. Oh. Nope, that just uses chilies. Sweet and spicy blend of tomato, peppers, and spices can be used as accompaniment to grilled meats. Meat pies. So it has cinnamon, bay leaf, mustard seeds, celery seeds, cloves, black peppercorns, 12 cups of peeled tomatoes, cord peeled tomatoes, which we now have. Onions, bell peppers, white vinegar, sugar, red peppers. I'd need some jalapenos. I don't have any. That might be fun. I don't have any more 8-ounce jars though. And you can't, if a recipe calls for a certain size of jar, you can go down in size, but you can't go up in size. So yeah, probably not then. Okay, green chili sauce. No, I need green tomatoes for that. Grandma's chili sauce. 16 cups of cord peeled tomatoes. This makes pint jars. So it has bell peppers, vinegar, sugar, clove, garlic. Ooh, horseradish. That kind of sounds interesting. Okay, that's a maybe. Grandma's chili sauce. Hot and sweet chili sauce. Sweet and spicy chili sauce adds a delightful zing to barbecue chicken or pork. Mustards. No, it's sauce. Vinegars. 8-ounce. All of these are 8-ounce jars. I could make more tomato juice. Or even more, what I make? Bloody Mary mix. Because that stuff's really good. Ooh, I could make tomato soup. But David doesn't let you eat it. So I would be the only one eating it. Yeah. Tomato juice. Oh, this is for, okay, and then we're talking about pressure canning low acid foods. Let's see here. That's the mustards we made. Speaking of, I have had now some of the mustards, the brown mustard. Have I opened the Dijon? I don't think I've opened the Dijon yet, but the brown mustard is super tasty. It definitely mellowed out really well. All right. Oh, they don't have very much tomato stuff in this one. This was the all new ball book of canning. So, all right. Well, I guess I'm going to put the stuff back in the fridge for now, regardless, because it's not going to happen tonight. And then maybe I'll make that chili sauce, see what that is like. And I probably will just make the rest. I probably am going to make some more quarts of either just plain tomato juice or some more Bloody Mary mix, because that stuff is good. All right. Oh, let me show you how the onions are looking. Just a second. They definitely have quite some ways to go. But let's give them a quick stir. They are definitely cooking down, but you can see there's still quite a bit of liquid left in here. So yeah, these have got a ways to go. Which means this will be a late night for me because I want to get these actually done. I probably won't package them up tonight, but I will get them all at least completely caramelized. And my plan is to do probably a cup in each bag, and we'll just throw them in the freezer, just like that. And then we have caramelized onions on demand anytime we want them. So I'm kind of excited about that. Back in the oven they go. It seems like the 300 degrees is a good temperature because they're definitely cooking down, but they're not getting crispy or anything like that. So, which is what we want. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining me on our little journey through a couple of preservation projects. Like I said, it'll be late night while I get these onions finished up, and I will handle the tomatoes tomorrow. There always is also the option of just throwing them in the freeze dryer and letting it freeze dry into tomato paste powder. So I did manage to get all of the dishes done, but they are sitting here drying and I am not going to hand dry them and put them away tonight. So that will also happen tomorrow. But I'm very happy to have these projects done and I'm super thrilled to get all of those onions preserved, which is great. And we even got a few seeds in the ground. So cheers, guys. Have a great night and I'll see you next time. Bye.